Welcome to this book summary video of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This book is a fascinating read for anyone interested in the art of power dynamics and the strategies used by historical figures to achieve power and maintain power. In this video, we'll explore the key themes and concepts of the book and provide personal insights and reflections on how these ideas can be applied to real life so that you don't have to read it. You can visit the link in the description later if in case you want to read the book. Chapter 1. Never outshine the master. The first law of power is to never outshine the master. This law suggests that in order to gain and maintain power, you should never appear more talented or intelligent than your superiors. By appearing to be a threat, you risk being seen as a rival and losing favor. However, you can still be successful by being a great support to your superior and making them feel good about themselves. It's important to be aware of the dynamics of power in any given situation and to strategically position yourself for success. Chapter 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. The second law of power is to never put too much trust in friends, but learn how to use enemies. This law advises that people can be fickle and unpredictable, even close friends. You should always be prepared to use your enemies to your advantage. By knowing your enemies' strengths and weaknesses, you can use this information to gain an advantage. However, be cautious when using this strategy, as it can backfire if your enemy becomes too powerful. Chapter 3. Conceal your intentions. The third law of power is to conceal your intentions. This law suggests that people tend to be more cautious and defensive when they know what you're up to. It's important to be strategic in the way you communicate and to only reveal information when necessary. By keeping your intentions concealed, you can maintain a level of mystery and control the perception others have of you. Chapter 4. Always say less than necessary. The fourth law of power is to always say less than necessary. This law suggests that the less you say, the more powerful and mysterious you appear. It's important to speak only when necessary and to be careful with your words. By using silence as a tool, you can make others uncomfortable and force them to reveal more about themselves. Chapter 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. The fifth law of power is that reputation is everything. Guard it with your life. This law advises that your reputation is your most valuable asset and must be protected at all costs. It's important to be aware of how others perceive you and to take steps to build a positive reputation. Your reputation can open doors and give you power and influence. Chapter 6. Court attention at all costs. The sixth law of power is to court attention at all costs. This law suggests that to gain power, you must be noticed. It's important to be bold and take risks to get noticed, as attention equals power. However, be cautious not to appear desperate or needy for attention. Chapter 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take credit. The seventh law of power is to get others to do the work for you, but always take your credit. This law advises that you should never do more work than actually necessary and should always take credit for the work done by others. It's important to be a good delegator and to know how to motivate and incentivize others to work hard for you. Chapter 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. The eighth law of power is to make other people come to you and you can use bait if necessary, kind of like fishing. This law advises that by controlling access to yourself, you can increase your power and influence. It's important to create a sense of scarcity around yourself and to make others work hard to gain your attention and favor. By being the one in control, you can dictate the terms of relationship and maintain power. Chapter 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. The ninth law of power is to win through your actions, never through argument. This law suggests that actions speak louder than words, and that it's important to demonstrate your power and influence through your actions. Rather than trying to convince others through argument, focus on achieving your goals and let your results speak for themselves. Chapter 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. The 10th law of power is to avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This law advises that negative people can drain your energy and bring down your mood. It's important to surround yourself with positive and supportive people who can help you achieve your goals. Chapter 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. The 11th law of power is to learn to keep people dependent on you. This law suggests that by creating a sense of dependency, you can maintain power and influence over others. It's important to be indispensable and to create a sense of loyalty in others. This can be achieved by being a good leader, mentor, or partner. Chapter 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. The 12th law of power is to use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This law advises that by being selectively honest and generous, you can create a sense of indebtedness in others. It's important to be strategic in your approach, however, and to use this tactic when it serves your larger goals. Chapter 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. The 13th law of power is to appeal to people's self-interest when asking for help. This law suggests that people are more likely to help you if it benefits them in some way. It's important to understand what motivates others and to frame your requests in a way that appeals to their self-interest. Chapter 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. The 14th law of power is to pose as a friend but work as a spy. This law advises that by gaining the trust of others, you can gather information and gain an advantage over them. It's important to be strategic and careful when using this tactic, however, as it can damage your reputation if discovered. Chapter 15. Crush your enemies totally. This law, the 15th, is to crush your enemy totally. It suggests that when facing an enemy, it's important to be decisive and to eliminate them completely. Leaving an enemy alive can lead to future problems and challenges. Chapter 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. The 16th law of power is to use absence to increase respect and honor. This law advises that by making yourself scarce, you can increase your perceived value and make others appreciate you more. It's important to balance this tactic with availabilities. However, being too absent can also make you appear uninterested or disengaged. Chapter 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. The 17th law of power is to keep others suspended terror by cultivating an air of unpredictability. This law suggests that by being unpredictable, you can keep others off balance and unsure of your intentions. This can give you a strategic advantage and make others more likely to comply with your requests. Chapter 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. The 18th law of power is to not build fortresses to protect yourself, as isolation can be dangerous. This law advises that it's important to maintain social connections and to keep yourself open to new experiences and opportunities. Isolation can make you vulnerable and limit your opportunities for growth and success. Chapter 19. Know who you are dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. The 19th law of power is to know who you are dealing with and to avoid offending the wrong person. This law advises that it's important to be aware of the power dynamics in any given situation and to be cautious when dealing with those who have significant power and influence. Offending the wrong person can have serious consequences and can damage your reputation. Chapter 20. Do not commit to anyone. The 20th law of power is to not commit to anyone. This law suggests that it's important to remain flexible and adaptable in your relationships and alliances. By avoiding permanent commitments, you can maintain your independence and freedom of action. Chapter 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. The 21st law of power is to play a sucker to catch a sucker and seem dumber than your mark. This law advises that by appearing to be less intelligent or capable than your target, you can gain an advantage and catch them off guard. This can be a useful tactic in negotiations or when trying to gain the upper hand in a competitive situation. Chapter 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. The 22nd law of power is to use the surrender tactic and transform weakness into power. This law advises that by appearing to surrender or admit weakness, you can gain an advantage and create growth opportunities for growth and success. It's important to be strategic in how you use this tactic, however, and to only surrender when it serves your larger goals. Chapter 23. Concentrate your forces. This chapter is about concentrating your forces. It suggests that it's important to focus your resources and energy on a few key areas rather than spreading yourself too thin. By concentrating your efforts, you can achieve greater results and have a greater impact. Chapter 24. Play the perfect courtier. The 24th law of power is to play the perfect courtier. This law advises that it's important to be skilled at navigating social hierarchies and to know how to charm and flatter those in power. By mastering the art of courtship, you can gain access to those in power and increase your own influence and status. The 25th law of power is to recreate yourself. This law suggests that it's important to be adaptable and to reinvent yourself as necessary. By continually improving and evolving, you can maintain a competitive edge and avoid becoming obsolete. Chapter 26. Keep your hands clean. The 26th law of power is to keep your hands clean. This law advises that it's important to avoid dirty tactics and to maintain a reputation for integrity and honesty. By being seen as a trustworthy and ethical person, you can gain respect and credibility in your relationships and alliances. Chapter 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. The 27th law of power is to play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. This law suggests that it's possible to gain power and influence by appealing to people's emotions and beliefs. By creating a sense of community and shared purpose, you can gain a loyal following and increase your own power and influence. Chapter 28. Enter action with boldness. The 28th law of power is to enter action with boldness. This law advises that it's important to be confident and decisive in your actions. By taking bold steps, you can demonstrate your power and influence and inspire others to follow your lead. Chapter 29. Plan all the way to the end. The 29th law of power is to plan all the way to the end. This law suggests that it's important to think strategically and to plan for all possible outcomes and contingencies. By being thorough in your planning, you can anticipate potential challenges and opportunities and be prepared to respond effectively. Chapter 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. The 30th law of power is to make your accomplishments seem effortless. This law advises that it's important to be modest and understand in your achievements and to avoid appearing too overly ambitious or competitive. By making your accomplishments seem easy and effortless, you can avoid attracting jealousy and resentment from others. Chapter 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. The 31st law of power is to control the options and get others to play with the cards you deal. This law suggests that it's important to be strategic in how you present your options and opportunities to others. By framing the options in a way that benefits you, you can influence the choices that others make and gain a strategic advantage. Chapter 32. Play to people's fantasies. The 32nd law of power is to play to people's fantasies. This law advises that it's possible to gain power and influence by appealing to people's desires and aspirations. By creating a sense of excitement and possibility, you can gain a following and increase your own influence and status. Chapter 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. The 33rd law of power is to discover each man's thumbscrew. This law suggests that it's important to understand what motivates others and what their vulnerabilities are. By identifying a person's thumbscrew or their most sensitive point, you can gain leverage over them and use it to your advantage. Chapter 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. The 34th law of power is to be royal in your own fashion and to act like a king to be treated like one. This law advises that it's important to project an air of confidence and authority in your actions and behavior. By acting like a leader, you can inspire respect and obedience from others and increase your own power and influence. Chapter 35. Master the art of timing. The 35th law of power is to master the art of timing. This law suggests that it's important to be strategic in how you time your actions and decisions. By understanding the rhythms and patterns of your environment, you can make more effective decisions and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. Chapter 36. Disdain things you cannot have, ignoring them is the best revenge. The 36th law of power is to disdain things you cannot have and to ignore them as the best revenge. This law advises that it's important to focus on what you can control and to avoid obsessing over things that are out of your reach. By ignoring what you cannot have, you can avoid being consumed by jealousy and resentment and focus on your own goals and ambitions. Chapter 37. Create compelling spectacles. The 37th law of power is to create compelling spectacles. This law suggests that it's possible to gain power and influence by creating dramatic and captivating events or performances. By captivating the attention of others, you can increase your own influence and status. Chapter 38. Think as you like but behave like others. The 38th law of power is to think as you like but behave like others. This law advises that it's important to be strategic in how you present yourself and how you interact with others. By conforming to social norms and expectations, you can avoid drawing unwanted attention to yourself and can gain acceptance and respect from others. Chapter 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. The 39th law of power is to stir up waters to catch fish. This law suggests that it's possible to gain power and influence by creating controversy or conflict. By stirring up the waters and creating chaos, you can gain attention and influence the direction of events to your advantage. Chapter 40. Despise the free lunch. The 40th law of power is to despise the free lunch. This law advises that it's important to be wary of offers or opportunities that appear to be too good to be true. By being skeptical and cautious, you can avoid being taken advantage of and can protect your own interests. The 48 Laws of Power is a fascinating and controversial book that provides valuable insights into the dynamics of power and influence. While some of the laws may seem Machiavellian or ruthless, the book emphasizes the importance of being strategic and aware of the power dynamics in any given situation. The laws are not necessarily meant to be followed blindly, but rather to be understood and applied in a thoughtful and deliberate way. The book is especially useful for those who want to increase their power and influence, whether in their personal or professional lives. By understanding the principles of power and influence, readers can become more effective leaders and decision makers and can achieve greater success and impact in their endeavors. However, it's important to use the lessons of the book responsibly and ethically. The pursuit of power and influence should never come at the expense of others or involve unethical or immoral tactics. Ultimately, the most effective and sustainable approach to power and influence is one that is grounded in integrity, honesty, and a commitment to serving the greater good. There's a link in the description below that you can use to buy this book, which helps us create content like this for free. Thanks for watching and happy reading.